We are joined now by two very special guests. We have Em and Christine with the And That's Why We Drink podcast.
Yeah, every new episode does a little deep dive into whatever paranormal and true crime stories that they are obsessing over that week. Hi, how are you both doing?
We're good, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So you guys are joining us to talk about your On the Rocks live tour, which is stopping at the Moore Theater on February 25th. We are so excited to have you here.
We're very excited. We haven't been back since right after lockdown, or I think you were our first show back from the pandemic. So,
that's so nice.
We're happy to come back with a whole new show.
Oh, good. Well, we're so excited to have you. And for people who maybe haven't heard it, tell us about the podcast.
Yeah, so it's a paranormal true crime show. Every week I bring a true crime story to the table that Em has not heard before. Em brings a paranormal story, a ghost story that I have not heard before, and the listeners kind of get to listen along and learn as we do.
I absolutely love that. And the thing that is just round of applause, congratulations. The podcast has more than 130 million lifetime downloads, and it's just really just ranking all the time, top of the comedy podcast charts.
Yeah.
Thank you. Amazing. Congratulations. But how do you feel about that happening?
It feels very surreal. I think we're definitely in the self-deprecating camp where we just think this is all a big fluke. But we're enjoying the ride as we go.
Yeah, I think when we first started, the plan was for only our moms to listen to it, and so and that's still kind of the goal. And so the fact that anytime someone says those numbers to us, it's shocking.
It's very humbling. Yes.
How did you first get interested in the paranormal?
No, that's an M question, I think.
That's me. So I have been into ghosts since I was a little kid. I think my first time I saw a ghost, I was 7. It was my grandfather a week after he passed, and the next day I told my mom I wanted to grow up and be a ghost hunter. And she said, "Good luck." And it ended up working out. And in college, I was a ghost tour guide, and I also did some investigations overnight. And so it ended up becoming my job, and I loved it so much that I kind of never shut up about it. And when Christine and I became friends, she was kind enough to listen every time I brought it up. So.
What a good friend. Now I have to hear, what amazing stories do you have that you love, whether it's crime or paranormal, of the Seattle area?
Great question. There were definitely a lot of options. I remember looking through the Seattle Wikipedia pages, and it was hard to narrow down.
I wrote about Manresa Castle in our book, A Haunted Road Atlas. But my favorite spooky thing to do in general there is the underground tour. My aunt and uncle live in Seattle, and so I go there every Thanksgiving, and they try to give me the tourist experience. So they've taken me on the underground tour, and it's just so creepy, and I know that place is haunted. I would love a whole night there if I could.
I still have not done that, so I'm really glad that you reminded me of that. Have you done that?
You gotta go.
Oh my gosh, we should do that at some point. I'm glad you brought up your book, The Haunted Road Atlas. It's a New York Times bestseller list. So tell us about the book, and what was the experience like kind of writing that?
Oh boy, don't remind me.
Yeah, the writing experience, I feel like before we ever wrote a book, I would watch, interviews of other people who wrote books, and they'd say like, "Oh, it's like the most fun you never want to have again." And that's very true.
That's the best way to put it, for sure.
It's much harder than it looks.
Yeah, we decided to write a book because we just had like this compendium of so many stories from across the country, and Em told me at the time, Em's not a huge reader, and was like, if we want to write a book, I'd love for it to be something that even I would read. Yeah. So, more interactive, not just bland,
dry text.
Not just text. So we ended up creating kind of like this road atlas where every city, features a true crime story, a paranormal story, and then we also put in some fun facts and list, the haunted local haunts, literally.
Bars, bars, ice cream shops, pretty much anything you might want to do. You could build an itinerary out of our book.
Yeah, so like a road trip guide.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us and the That's Why We Drink podcast. Really just so much fun.
So cool. And if you're interested in going to the show, it's at the Moore Theater on February 25th. We put tickets up on fox13seattle.com/Studio13 Live. Maybe I'll see you there. You're a big true crime
I do love
junkie.
it. I love it.
Okay, coming up, we're going to be chatting